Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was made by a user named Mindless Review in the AITA subreddit. The post is titled, "My wife didn't want to have sex anymore, so I got it elsewhere. A few months ago, I posted for relationship advice on another sub. Basically, my wife has decided unilaterally that we are done having sex. She found out that she cannot have kids due to a choice she made before we met, and kids apparently are the only reason she was willing to have sex. I love my wife, and I enjoy being intimate with her, but it was making our marriage untenable after 2 years of this. So I posted for advice. I got a lot of great support and suggestions about how to talk to my wife. I tried a lot of it. I started going for counseling for myself as well, but no matter how I approached her about our situation, she would not try to see it from my point of view. Every discussion would end with her crying and screaming in my face that I am trying to emotionally manipulate her. I then wrote her a letter outlining my feelings and asking her to come with me for counseling, to seek it for herself, perhaps to go see a doctor. I was kind and loving in the letter. The last thing I wanted to do was set her off. I worked on the wording with my counselor to make sure I wasn't saying anything aggressive that could be misinterpreted. She read the letter, then she scrawled across it with her red Sharpie, "Go get it elsewhere because you are not getting it from me." Then she walked out. I sat there for about an hour doing nothing. Then I told myself that was what I was gonna do. We are both fairly successful in our jobs. I'm not super attractive, but I'm fit and a good talker. It took a while, but I met someone. We started out as just friends, but it became physical. I made sure she knew I was married. She is not interested in a relationship, so I guess I am a safe option for her. My wife found out because I did not try to hide it. She was crying when I got home one night. When I came in, she asked if I was going to leave her. I said no. She asked if I was cheating on her, and I said I was getting sex elsewhere. She said that was cheating and I did not disagree. I asked her what she wanted to do. She said I had to stop. I asked her if we were going to start having sex. She said I was an irrational asshole if I thought that she would have sex with me after I cheated. I went to my desk and pulled out a photocopy of the letter I wrote with her answer in it. I went to have a shower and go to my room to sleep. When I woke up, she was sitting on the couch waiting to talk. She said that she reread the letter and realized she had not before. She assumed it was just a letter begging for sex. She said she would go for counseling alone and with me. All I had to do was stop having sex elsewhere. I said I would be willing to pause my friendship until we saw a counselor, and that if I saw progress in our relationship, I would break it off. She said she would not agree to counseling without me leaving the other woman. It almost turned into a fight, so I just went for my run. Before I left, I asked her what would compel her to go to counseling if I stopped having sex elsewhere. When I got back, she still did not have an answer. She couldn't even say that our relationship was worth saving. I don't want a divorce, but I am willing to leave over this. I am 28. I am not going the rest of my life without sex. She refuses to see my side. Update. I told my wife that I broke off my relationship with the woman I was having sex with. I did this because she said she would not agree to go to counseling unless I did so. She refused to go for counseling after I told her I broke off my relationship with my friend. She said I was her husband and that I didn't have the right to her body or to get sex elsewhere. Since I lied as a test, I think you can guess I knew she was lying. We are getting divorced. She deserves to be happy with someone who is okay with no sex in the marriage, and I deserve a life. I have moved out and am moving forward with my life. Thanks for all your advice. Unintentional Wipe said, I don't get it. If you don't want to have sex, which is important in a relationship, and you fight whenever it's brought up and won't get help for it, then when your partner reaches their breaking point, you basically tell them to seek intimacy elsewhere. Why continue being in this relationship? If she doesn't want to have sex, then that's fine. But her partner doesn't want that lifestyle, and instead of being adults discussing this, you put down their feelings. How did she think the relationship would last? If she wanted it to work, why not seek help? To this, Barnes Wilson said, you can't rationalize the irrational. Her inner turmoil after learning she's infertile is causing her to be unreasonable and do things rational people wouldn't do in order to assuage her internal pain. Not, yo, mama said OP should just have divorced her after she marked up the letter. Everything else was just adding to the mess. This next post was made by a user named Mark Weston. The post is titled, Need a Fake Kid to Piss Off My Wife. My wife and I are watching Elf together, and we saw the part where Buddy Will Ferrell's real dad, James Caan, tells his wife about Buddy, and his wife Mary Steenburgen gets excited about this surprise adult kid that pops into their life from a time before they knew each other. I pointed out to my wife that it's a little unbelievable that she, Mary Steenburgen, would immediately be on board. I then commented that she would actually be mad at me in this situation even if I genuinely did not know this kid existed and it was conceived before I had met her. She denies it, but I know my wife. We're in our early 40s and have been married 10 years. So I need a 20-ish kid to knock on the door and tell me they're my kid and that they just wanted to meet me. Gotta be convincing and really talk about how your mom and I were once really happy before she died of something tragic. Job pays $100. Gender, race, etc. Don't matter so long as you can pass for early 20s. It shouldn't take more than an hour of conversation, then you get a call or something and have to leave. Want to do this soon after the new year. You come up with the backstory and I'll play along. I'll give you a little info up front after you take the job. Edit. Holy cow, I have several interested potential fake offspring. I am no longer taking applications. Did not expect so many willing people. I'll post the winning candidates in the coming days. Edit 2, it looks like I not only have a potential fake kid, but the kid could actually pass as genetically me. Update. First off, I am still married and my wife thoroughly enjoyed the prank. So to the very dramatic naysayers, to you I say, you're probably right. However, stick your head in doo-doo. We've been married a decade. We know each other well enough to know what's over the line and what's funny. That said, it was harder than I thought to secure a fake child. Sure, I had a large number of interested parties and even a couple of fabulous candidates. Unfortunately, interested and committed are two very different things. Multiple potential sons and daughters made it to the planning stage and found one reason or another to bail out. Let me be clear, I do not blame these folks at all. I don't think I'd have the courage to send the first direct message, let alone actually go through with a prank orchestrated by a complete stranger. But I did find a suitable actor with the courage to come through, and I still think it was money well spent. So here's a synopsis of how it played out. Saturday afternoon, my doorbell rang. My dog lost his mind as he is wont to do, and my wife answered the door since I had pretended to take a call moments earlier. My son, looking about 20 to 25, taller and better looking than I, asked if I was home. My wife motioned to me and I came to the door. My son, who even shared my first name, said he had something kind of strange to talk to me about. I asked if he wanted to come in, but my wife didn't think much of it. We came to the living room, I offered him a drink, he declined. My son is an excellent actor, by the way. He later said it was the anxiety of the situation and not wanting to mess up that made his nervous demeanor so convincing. This is from memory, but it's pretty much everything. I'll let my son chime in with details should he feel like outing himself. Do you remember old ex-girlfriend I mentioned at least once in my 10-year marriage in front of my wife? Yeah, that's my mother. It was my wife who reacted first with, "Oh, no way." So I looked at her, feigning ignorance, then back at my son and said, "Is she okay?" "Yeah, she's fine. That's not why I'm here." My wife was nearly busting out of her chair, totally engrossed and completely consumed with two strong theories. Her husband had a long-lost son, and more importantly, her husband hasn't figured out yet that he has a long-lost son. So I say, out with it, kid, what's going on? I'm 22 years old. My wife's eyes essentially bugged out of her head, having now confirmed her theories in her mind. She looks at me, seemingly annoyed that I hadn't put these obvious puzzle pieces together, and interrupts my fake kid. "I think he's telling you that he thinks you're his father." My acting is not so great, but I gave it a shot with, "Wait, what?" My look of shock could use some work, but it played for the audience. My son looked at me. She's right, and I'm not here to ask for anything. In fact, I don't have a lot of time to stay, but I just wanted to meet you and maybe exchange numbers. Me. This is a lot to take in. I knew your mother a long time ago, and she never said, I didn't know. Him. She never told you. She only told me on Christmas morning. She didn't say anything bad about you, just that it was over and she was already dating my dad when she found out she was pregnant with me. Me. Wait, does your dad know? Him, of course, and I've always known he wasn't my biological father. He's a great dad, but lately I'd been wondering who my real father was, so I asked mom and she told me. Me. Wow. My wife, not saying anything, just taking it all in. Not much else to tell in terms of the production. We exchanged numbers, then he got his own fake phone call reminding him he was late for something or other, and I walked him out. The rest of the production was just my wife and me. I came back to the living room doing my best bewildered act. We talked about it, and it turns out I was way wrong. My wife wasn't mad, miffed, or even slightly annoyed. She was full on amazed, excited, and entertained by the whole thing. I waited a few hours before I fessed up, but before I did, she kept saying how cool it was that I might have a son. And then, when I told her it was all a bullshit lie I made up to prove a point, she laughed. A lot. I can't decide what amused her more, the effort I put into the ruse or the fact that I ended up proving her right in the process. Here are a couple of gems from my wife after I told her the truth. Where the hell did you find that guy? I'm glad your son wasn't a serial killer. I might have been mad if he came here looking for money. Next time, you can save $100 and just assume you're wrong. You know I'm going to get you back, right? That last one has me a little worried. St. Banquo said, honestly, this guy's wife just seems very sweet and genuine. What a great story to tell of their next long-lost kid. Line Environmental said, I thought it was fake, but the save the money and just assume you are wrong, sell it to me. Definitely something my wife would say in the scenario. To this, SolarWind said, I believe it, but even if it was fake, at least it is the fun kind. It isn't trying to push an agenda or spin any malicious narratives. This last post was made in the AITA subreddit by a user named Aggressive Test. The post is titled, I refuse to go to my sister's wedding after she publicly humiliated my son. A few months ago, my sister, let's call her Jane, got engaged and started planning her wedding. Jane is 37 years old. Growing up, we were always close, sharing secrets and supporting each other through life's ups and downs. However, Jane has always had a tendency to be backhanded and passive-aggressive. She would make snide remarks under the guise of concern and often find subtle ways to belittle me or others. Despite this, I always tried to maintain a good relationship with her, believing that deep down she cared for me. This all came to a head during a recent family gathering at Jane's house. My son Liam, who is 7 years old, has a bladder issue that sometimes causes him to have accidents. We've been working with doctors and trying our best to manage it, but it's a sensitive topic for him. During the gathering, Liam had an accident. He was embarrassed and I was in the process of helping him clean up when Jane noticed. Instead of being understanding or discreet, Jane loudly pointed it out in front of everyone. She said things like, "How disgusting," and "At his age, this is unacceptable." She even went as far as to say that Liam should be ashamed of himself and criticized me for not getting him under control. Her comments made Liam burst into tears, and I quickly took him home to comfort him. As I was gathering our things to leave, Jane came over, still clearly upset. She asked me why I was leaving. I looked at her, trying to keep my voice calm for Liam's sake. Jane, I think it's best if we go home. Liam is very upset right now. Jane rolled her eyes at me. Oh, come on, it's just an accident. He needs to learn how to handle these things better. You can't just coddle him forever. My patience was wearing thin, but I tried to explain again. Jane, Liam has a medical condition. We're working with doctors and it's a sensitive issue for him. Your comments just now were really hurtful. I was just telling the truth. He needs to toughen up. You're not doing him any favors by babying him. At this point, I was furious but didn't want to escalate the situation in front of Liam. I took a deep breath and said, "We'll talk about this later, Jane. Right now, I need to take care of my son." Without waiting for a response, I gathered Liam and headed to the car. On the drive home, I couldn't shake the image of Jane's face and her harsh words. This wasn't the first time she had made Liam feel bad about his condition. Each time, I had hoped she would understand and show some empathy, but it seemed like she was only getting worse. The next day, I called Jane to talk about what had happened. This conversation is from what I can remember. I wanted to explain again, away from the heat of the moment, and hoped she would see reason. Jane, about yesterday, I need you to understand how much your words hurt Liam. He's already struggling and your comments made him feel even worse. Instead of apologizing, Jane was very defensive. I'm not going to apologize for telling the truth. You need to stop coddling him and he needs to learn to deal with the real world. Her response was like a punch to the gut. I had hoped for some empathy, some understanding, but it was clear she wasn't going to give it. Jane, I don't think you understand how serious this is. He has a medical condition. It's not something he can just toughen up from. She told me, look, I have a wedding to plan. I don't have time for this drama. When Jane's wedding invitations went out, I received one, but I felt conflicted. On one hand, she's my sister, and it's a significant event in her life. On the other hand, I couldn't forget how she humiliated my son and her refusal to apologize. After much thought, I decided to decline the invitation. I didn't feel comfortable celebrating with someone who had been so cruel to my child. When Jane found out, she was livid. She accused me of trying to ruin her special day and called me petty and overdramatic. Some family members sided with her, saying I should let it go for the sake of family harmony, while others understood my decision and supported me. This wasn't the first time Jane had done something like this. She has a history of making hurtful comments about Liam's condition and generally lacks sensitivity when it comes to his medical issues. Each time, I've tried to address it calmly, hoping she would eventually understand and be more considerate. Unfortunately, she never changes, and her behavior continues to hurt my son. Jane has been blowing up my phone, including other family members. Now I'm left questioning if I'm the asshole for refusing to go to my sister's wedding. I don't want to cause family drama, but I also feel strongly about standing up for my son. This wedding is just the latest incident in a long line of hurtful behavior from Jane, and I'm not sure how much more I can take. So am I the asshole for refusing to go to my sister's wedding after she publicly humiliated my son? Update. It has been a few hours since I made my first post. I wanted to say thank you for all the love going to my son, Liam. It truly means the world. I wanted to address some things. The reason I bring Liam to these gatherings is because he loves his cousins. He enjoys spending time with family. Liam doesn't like wearing pull-ups or diapers of any form. That is why I haven't necessarily been using them. Now, to further update, I have talked to Liam about what happened. I told him that it wasn't his fault at all and that Aunt Jane was being very rude and inconsiderate. I told him that he's an amazing boy and to never let anybody say otherwise. My son was very happy to hear this. He told me that what Jane had said to him hurt his feelings a lot, and I completely understood. I asked him if he wanted to continue to go to these family events. He said no. I fully supported his decision. My son comes first, and the comments have helped me realize that I've let Jane walk all over me with the fear of causing a tear in the family. Now, I am going little to no contact with Jane. I'll send her the occasional holiday message, but that's it. I cannot be around someone who hurts my son. I felt as if I had failed as a mom, and the comments have truly opened my eyes, so thank you all. As for the people in my family who support my sister, I have blocked them all. I refuse to allow people who agree with her mentality to be involved in my son's life. I love my son with all my heart, and I would do anything for that little guy. I think that I should have put a stop to it sooner, and I regret not doing that. However, I know that I can be a better mom, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I messaged the family that was contacting me in a mass group chat, and I told them that we would no longer be coming to any family events. If they wanted to see my son, they would have to come individually, or the event would have to be hosted by me. I also told them that my sister's behavior needs to be fixed because that was the reason our family is being torn apart. Not because I'm not going to her wedding, but because she decided to make fun of my child. My mother is on my side and fully supports my decision. My father is still stuck in the middle, and for that I think I should go low contact with him too. I'm going to keep in touch with you all and keep the updates coming whenever I can. All I know is that even if she gives my son the apology he deserves, I want nothing to do with her. I don't want her around my son. Update 2. It's been a couple of months since I made my update post, so I figured I should update once more. My sister Jane got married on December 4th, and it has been such a roller coaster. I did not go to the wedding, nor did I go to any after party or gathering they had. I am not at all interested in any of their plans. From what I heard, red wine was spilled on her dress, which in turn ruined the photos. Anyway, I ended up taking Liam to the mall and just spent the entire day with him. I bought him some new Lego sets, clothes, and basically everything he wanted. My boy deserves to be spoiled. Before anyone asks, yes, he still has his bladder issues. However, yes, we managed to get him used to wearing pull-ups and other things to manage his accidents. A lot of people sent me messages regarding certain things to use, and honestly, it really helped a lot. I checked a few of them before I logged out of this account. It wasn't easy getting him used to the change, but Liam understood that it was for the best and learned to use them. He hasn't really complained about anything so far. Now, the big question is, what's going on with my sister? Like I said, she got married and all, blah blah blah. According to her maid of honor, she was a real bridezilla. So glad I wasn't there. I feel bad for her fiance. I am still no contact with her or anyone in my family that supported her. My mother has been my rock. It hasn't been that hard to adjust, actually. My father has been cut off as well. My father and I never got along, so it isn't a loss for me. I fully believe that he is the reason my sister acts the way she does. My sister has tried to reach out to me a couple of times. Most of them were just her berating me for not going to the wedding, and the others were half-assed apologies. I could honestly care less about what she says. I read Liam some of the comments, and guys, you made him the happiest little boy on earth. His birthday was actually 4 days ago, January 22nd. He is now 8 years old. We had a nice Lego themed party for him. My mom and a few cousins were invited along with his school friends. He had an accident during the party, but finally, no one was there to berate him for something he can't control. TLDR, Liam is great. He says hi and thank you for everything. I'm also saying a thank you for everything. If anything happens in the future, I'll be sure to update you all. But for now, this seems to be it. Love you all and thank you for the support. Starcasm said, I just don't see how anyone could support a grown adult bullying a 7-year-old for a medical condition they can't control. That's insane. I know the don't rock the boat mentality is strong, but come on. To this, Catherine Lena said, some people really believe that being cruel to kids is the best way to raise them. They believe everything from conditions like Liam's to allergies to neurodivergence like ADHD or autism are compliance or obedience issues rather than medical issues. They believe kids need to be bullied or beaten into submission. It's awful and abusive as hell and causes so much harm. It's crazy how many people still think that way. I Am Hurting Cats said, boy, is Jane going to learn when she hits middle age and can't sneeze without problems. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, Gamersupps. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.